Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's my distinct pleasure today, on behalf of IAALV, to welcome our Consul General of India from New York, Randir ji. He has been very kind to visit us in Lehigh Valley and give us some of his time. There's a lot of people very involved in IALV who have made this visit possible. So I'd like to thank all the organizers, Vijay, Arunji, Neeraj, Anita, so that this visit is possible. We hope to continue doing a lot of these things for the community as IALV has always been. With that, I'm going to pass over the microphone to Honorable Jaiswal ji so that he can introduce himself and talk to our community.
Namaste and thank you, Jay, for introducing me to the larger community, Indian American community here in Lehigh Valley. It is my pleasure and honor to come down to meet our friends and to have it's an opportunity for me to be connected through this platform, digital platform, with the larger community. I would like to assure you that sooner, hopefully, we'll be able to meet in person in a larger gathering to respect the limitations of COVID right now, the regulations of the government. We have little choice but to meet in this formation. But I'm delighted. I came to New York in July, so it's been almost 6 months that I've been here. The last 6 months, as all of you, we all have been limited by COVID, and that has put some limitations on our working, on our meeting, on our engaging with people. But hopefully, with the vaccine out now, and as we move into the summer, springtime, temperatures go up, there'll be a lot more ease, comfort with the pandemic, and we can begin our normal lives soon. Now, before I have an engagement, let me brief you a few things about India, what's happening there, etc. So one, of course, we had a budget which has been adopted. Budget has key focus on infrastructure development, on health sector. In fact, for the first time, the health budget has been ramped up by 135%. There is a lot of provisions to stimulate the economies, to stimulate growth, and I'm sure with all these things put together, we'll see a rebound of our economy in 21-22. Now coming to vaccination, we've started vaccinating people in India, and that was started on 16th of January. We have crossed the 6 million mark, and our target is to vaccinate some 300 million people by the middle of this year. It's a big task, possibly the largest vaccination drive in the world, but we are committed to take it forward. But more importantly, while we are caring for our people, we are equally committed to provide help, support, and care to people at large, to the humanity at large. We have supplied vaccines to countries in our neighborhood, in South Asia, Seychelles, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, the list is long. And we've also provided vaccines to countries in the Caribbean, in Latin America, in Africa, and we remain committed to providing more vaccines to developing countries around the world, people who are in need of that. We are also committed to providing support to COVAX, which is a WHO-led global facility for developing countries to access vaccines. In effect, we are caring for our people and we are caring for people around the world. You would know that today 60% of global vaccine production capacity lies in India. We are proud of this. We are proud of all those who made this possible, our scientists, our people who are working, our technicians, our experts, our business people. All of them put together have got this together, and we are proud of it. We want to promote, the world sees India as pharmacy of the world, and we want to make this available, make ourselves available for the health and well-being of the world at large. Then coming to the third issue, the farm laws. We have recently adopted farm laws a few months back. There's some protest going on in Delhi. By and large, these farm laws are supported by farmers in India. Some 98%, I would say, or the vast majority of them support. There's a small percentage who are opposed to it. We are trying to explain. The government is ready to engage them. Government, no less than the Prime Minister himself, has said that these laws can be put in abeyance for 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, and we can discuss clause by clause. So government remains open to dialogue. The other thing is our idea is to double farm incomes over a period of time. We have structural problems in India as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. Most of our small land holdings are small land holdings. Most of the farmers are small and marginal farmers. The land holding size has shrunk over a period of time, and therefore we need to do things differently, bring in more investment, modernize the agriculture sector, bring in cold chain supply, cold storage, logistics, infrastructure, add value at the food processing end to enhance farmers' income. These laws, they provide option for the farmers to sell in the mandi if they wish to do so, but it also provides the option to sell in the open market if they feel that the prices there support them. So it gives them an option. There is a provision for contract farming as well, but with adequate safeguards to protect the land, protect the interest of the farmers. We can have a separate session on how the farm laws in India are beneficial to the farmers, and it is pro-poor, pro-people. But let me also tell you that, you would have heard about some protest here and there. The same kind of protest we also saw in the 1960s when India adopted Green Revolution. The then Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri had a lot of problems in looking for an agriculture minister because there was opposition from all sorts of corners, all sorts of segments. Again, the same set of problems we faced in 1991 when we introduced economic reforms. There were protests from various corners, various quarters, but it is for you today to see where we have come in the last 30 years. Each and every segment of Indian population has benefited from economic reforms. There's a lot more. Our incomes have gone up, our GDP has gone up, our per capita income has gone up, infrastructure has improved. We have seen standard of living going up. Yes, there's a lot more to do, but we are committed to taking care of that as well. But one segment of Indian population which remains outside, has been outside the pale of reforms in India was the farming sector, the farmers. No major reform in India has been introduced in the last, after Green Revolution, and it is time that we inject the sector with new infrastructure, new ideas to raise farmers' incomes. So I thought I'll just give you a broad brush of some of the issues that we are dealing with in India. But all in all, even though we are in the middle of pandemic, there is great sense of hope and optimism. And with all your support, diaspora today, the NRI community, the Indian American community, is an important part in our international engagement, in our development and growth story. And we value this friendship, this support, this larger family a lot. So it's a pleasure to meet all of you, and I look forward to engaging. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Randirji. That was a very valuable information session. I think there's a community have a sort of a lot of questions which they have queued up in anticipation of your visit. And I know we won't probably get a chance to take all of them, but I thought maybe we'll take this opportunity to ask a few of those to you and maybe get your expert opinion on those. Some of them might be a little bit consular related because, as you know, we have about 7,000 odd Indian Americans in the Lehigh Valley, and they utilize the consular services all the time. One of the questions which came up was that the new company, the VFS company, who is being used for outsourcing in New York, they only been tweeting, and they don't really have too much of a contact center information. So I'm not an expert, but maybe you can shed some light on that.
Yeah, we have a new service provider. Earlier, it was with Cox and Kings. The Cox and Kings, one, their contract came to an end. Two, the company became bankrupt. So we floated a new tender. That tender was won by VFS, which is a global company. It is, I think, it is supported by a large number of Indian experts and technical people, but the company it's a multinational company which handles operations of many countries around the world. They were given this charge in November, and it has been 3 months now. There have been issues because of COVID and because they are new in this exercise. But my sense is that over a period of few weeks or so, the whole exercise will stabilize, and we will have a much more smoother rollout of our consular services, with VFS being at the forefront as an outsourcing service provider. As far as the question of telephone and getting in touch with them is concerned, they have a call center which is running efficiently. There is only one caveat there, that the first 10 minutes of the telephone conversation is free, but after that it is charged. So my request to all of you would be that please finish your question within those 10 minutes. Otherwise, and it is not that you are not informed of it. When you begin the conversation, you are informed and told that this will be a charged conversation after 10 minutes time gap. The other thing I would like to, since we are talking about consular issues, and they are, I mean, when you're dealing with people, they are very important, and therefore I must let you know. Some problems have happened because of COVID. There have been instances of COVID in VFS center, and when a COVID case is detected, there are standard protocols which have to be observed. That the whole entire team has to be tested. The place has to be deep cleaned, and at least there's a break of 2 days or 3 days before normal operations can begin. Similar has been our experience at the consulate. We've had a couple of rounds of COVID cases, and let me tell you, from the end of May, all our people, 70 people in the consulate, have been coming to office. And we are very grateful to all of them, because they are also exposed to health risk. They live with elderly people, parents, but in the interest of community and to serve the community, to be duty bound, to do their jobs, they all have been coming to office. So you may have issues here and there, but we would seek your understanding and support in these difficult times. As the pandemic recedes, you will see there will be a lot more comfort as far as all our consular services are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Randeepji. I mean, I can tell from personal experience, and whenever we have had some challenges in the Valley, whenever we have reached your office to try and help people, they have been just completely wonderful. So we really, really appreciate all the help which the consulate provides to our community over here. I think one of the things would be very useful, Randeepji, I think you were mentioning that a little bit earlier, if you would be able to do a Zoom call specifically on consulate issues. Maybe some of your consular officers can do that. Can you maybe talk about that a little bit?
Yes, we had done this in the past. Our officers came down to Lehigh Valley. We will be doing this again because people need our support. What we'll do is, in the month of March or April, whenever you are ready, we are ready. We'll send our officers here who can talk to you about OCI, miscellaneous services, and answer all your questions and do some hand holding right here in Lehigh Valley, so that whatever issues you have are sorted out in situ here. While I'm answering your questions, let me also encourage you that please, we have at this point in time, we don't know, they are living in strange times. You don't know how things are going to, we hope that things will better, but there was a South African variant, and then there was UK variant that caught the attention of the world, and the people were a little nervous in terms of opening airports and traffic, normal traffic, etc. So for that, right now, Indian government allows or has been issuing and has allowed people holding employment visas to come to India, people with business visas to come to India. But all visas are being allowed, or visa holders are being allowed to come to India, except those who have tourist visa. Now, I know that many people in the Indian American community hold tourist visa. Those are suspended for the time being. If there is any need, if you want to travel on an emergency basis, etc., we are giving you entry visa, for reasons of family emergency, etc. So for that reason, I would say that, but for OCI holders, you can travel to India whenever we want. So therefore, I would encourage all of you that please come forward and apply for this instrument. It will connect you with India for once and for all. It gives you lifelong stay travel to India, and there are other benefits also. So, and then it helps dealing with such abnormal situations. So it is in your interest. I would really encourage, and we have been talking to our community organizations around New York area and the United States, and asking them to come forward to uh, apply for OCI. So I would also encourage you to come forward and do that.
Thank you, Randeep. I think that would be very, very useful for our community to be able to ask some questions. I think the visa camp, which we arranged last year with the consulate, was very well received. We had 160 participants. The consular officers were amazing when they were here. So again, thank you so much for offering that to our community when COVID is not this big of a challenge. So really, really appreciate it. I think there was one other question which came on visa. So, and I don't know if I can articulate it correctly or not, but I'm going to try. The question was for parents who have already had visa and their visa is expiring, will the visa be extended? I'm guessing they're talking about the Indian visa. So I don't know if the question is well formulated, but I thought at least I'll ask.
Yeah, if the visa is a tourist visa, then obviously it is in suspension right now. You cannot use it to go to India. But if the visa happens to be a business visa or a family visa, X visa, some other visa, that is perfectly fine. But again, if there is an emergency and people from the Lehigh Valley need to travel to India, you can get in touch with your people here. You can write to us directly on Pramit or to the consulate, but you can also get in touch with the lead organizations who are here, and we are in regular touch with them. They can connect you with us, and we'll take it forward. Another issue, since we are talking about visas and emergency, I wanted to make you. There is an emergency helpline. It's a mobile phone, which is kept with an officer, a person in the consular section. We man it almost 24/7. Maybe in the middle of the night or so, if the person has snoozed off, he may not be able to pick up. But we get every day some 500 calls on it. Most of the calls are irrelevant. It is not an emergency. This particular service has been put in place for you, so that a person, if he wants to travel to India at a very short notice, there has been a death in the family, there has been an accident. So it is to meet those exigencies. But because people have been not been very, shall I say, very responsible in using this service, so it is creating a lot of problems. Obviously, if a phone rings for 500 times, then the whole idea is lost and the voicemail is full. So my request to all of you would be that please use the emergency number only when you actually need it.
Yeah, no, I think that is absolutely a very valid point. I think we all have to be judicious in the amazing services, in use of amazing services you provide, because if everything is an emergency, as you know, then nothing is an emergency, right? And there's definitely people who need that help. So I would request the community to be judicious, that if they ever use that emergency number, that they be only be calling that number if it's truly an emergency. There's a couple more consular questions, and I think we have another very interesting question as well. The question is actually, I'll move off from the consul services for a second because I'm going to ask this. This is an interesting community service question. So as you know, we have a lot of Indian Americans in the community, and they have over the years collected a lot of Indian clothes, which do not go to Salvation Army. So they were trying to figure out if there's a way for us to do a charity drive, collect all of these clothes and somehow collaborate with the consulate and send them over to needy people in India. I don't know what your thought on that is. I know it's a little bit of a random question, but I thought at least I'll ask.
I mean, my sense is that, how can it'll be in terms of transporting them to India, the cost of it will be a lot more than the clothes themselves. It is much easier for you to transport that money, ask from your family there in India to donate clothes to any organization who's been active there. That will be a much more feasible proposition.
That does make a lot of sense. I think this is a very pointed question, which is again consular related. Can one travel on X1 visa at this point?
My sense is that yes, but please do note the name of the gentleman or lady who's asked that question so that I can confirm right now, 5-10 minutes from now after this Zoom and convey to you. Only T visa, tourist visas are suspended.
Okay. Thank you so much, Randeepji. That's great as well.
I think that question was from Deepak.
I am not sure where the question was from. I think it was from Deepak. Yeah. So we'll note it down. Okay. Okay, that was a Facebook Live question.
Okay.
So we have multiple channels going on, Randirji. So some questions are coming from Facebook, some questions are coming directly from Zoom. One of the question which is here is because of COVID, how much approximate time is it taking to renew an Indian passport? Now it might be related a little bit to the VFS consular service as well. So do you have any?
Yeah, I would like to, we had been dealing with a backlog because when we stopped CKGS and the new company took over, there was a time lag of almost a month. And thereafter, the new company took time in establishing, recruiting people, etc. So we are dealing with in the beginning, we were dealing with a backlog of 2 months, 2.5 months, 1.5 months, etc. But slowly, we are getting over the backlog. Now, the problem right now happens because of COVID. There are 3 areas: the VFS, the consulate, and the courier service. Now, if the courier service is delaying in shipping your documents to us, it also adds to the delay as well. I know that FedEx, for example, is not the smoothest right now because of snow, because of pandemic, etc. The other thing, because of COVID, there are certain regulations which are being followed by VFS, so they also take little more time. On our side, once the document comes within few days, it goes out. But all the 3 people who are handling it, all of them put together, because of the pandemic, we are taking a little more time than the normal. But we try to ensure that all the tatkal cases, for example, come to us. There have been instances, I won't say that, where things have got delayed. But my request to you would be, given that we are in uncertain times, please apply in advance so that we can render the service in time. We have been taking some time, more than usual. Earlier, say from door to door, your passport would come back to you in a 7 days time. That's not happening because of courier logistics problem, because of COVID, and the backlog that we had from changing from one service provider to the other. It has all created some time it has added some more time to the service that we render. So my request to all of you would be that please apply in advance and be a little patient as well.
Yeah, I think in these strange times we live in, Randirji, that's very good advice, to be patient. And I think on that note, we are at 1:30. So we would like to end this session. I think thank you so much again for taking the time. to come over here to meet the community members, to do the Zoom session so that their questions can be answered. And I think rest assured, from what I've heard from Randirji personally, I think he's a gentleman. He's very well articulate, as you can see. You heard him talk about various issues, and he's there to help us. So I applaud your time, Randirji. I think you want to say one last thing before.
One last thing, it's very important for us to enhance, deepen, and strengthen our community connect. We are also want to serve you better, and we seek your support, and we also seek your understanding. Let me tell you that while I'm here in Lehigh Valley, Saturday and Sunday, both days, our people are working so that they can deal with the backlog. So I remain grateful to all my officers and staff for their commitment, and we hope that we can serve you to the best of our ability. We may lack in our service, but I can tell you, in our commitment and dedication, you will not find even an iota of difference.
And we really do appreciate those kind words and important words directly coming from you, Randirji. So on behalf of this team, on behalf of Neeraj, on behalf of Anita, on behalf of Arunji, Vijay, everybody who is on the Zoom call and everybody who is actually listening to us on Facebook Live, I want to thank you. IAALV has done a lot of different things. Indian American Association of Lehigh Valley, as I said earlier, have been leading the charge in the Lehigh Valley to get you different kind of opportunities to help our community, and we'll continue to do so. With that, we would end this call right now. Thank you so much for your time.